Hello, my little crafty monsters. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is fabulous. So, in today's fabulous tutorial, we are going to be making a adorable Easter wreath for our door. You guys know that we make wreaths almost every holiday, and that's because I believe that there should be a wreath for every holiday on your door, boo-boo. Or at least a welcome wreath or something. But anyway, in this tutorial, we're going to be making one for Easter. Let me show you guys the little bad boy we will be making. Now, this is the finished product. Ta-da! So, now, this is an organic wreath. Hello, boo-boo. So this is an organic wreath, and so it's not going to be a perfect circle because these are branches that they put together, but you got to kind of look at it and try to go with the best angle that you possibly can. On the top, I just tied a little ribbon, and this is where it's going to be hanging from. Nothing special, but this is it. This is the bad boy right here, boo-boos. And mostly everything that we put onto this little bad boy, we purchased it from Z Michaels and Z Dollar Tree, and also some items from Z 99-cent stores. Unfortunately, we did not purchase anything from one of my favorite stores, Z Hobby Lobbies, but for the most part, we did put a little element from each one of those three stores into this little wreath. Now, the actual main wreath, the little branches, that we did get at Z Michaels. And that one was a regular brown. You guys are going to basically see. But what we did was we slapped it with some white paint. We've been in the painting mood lately. What's going on here? Paint everything white, guys. And so, so we just painted it white because I felt that this looks better in white than it would in a dark brown. Now, what I also found was that you could already purchase these little organic wreaths already painted white, but the ones that were already painted white were about like $19 for, like, you know, the medium ones, and I think the larger ones were about like $30 or something like that. And I said to myself, that's a little too pricey for a wreath, you know, especially because I had to buy some other stuff in there anyway, and we could only use a coupon for one item. I don't know who came up with that rule. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so what I did was I found it in brown, and the brown ones were only like $6. So with your coupon, it came out a lot cheaper. And then I said, why not just, you know, slap on some paint yourself and make it white? So that's what we did. And so I know you guys want to get down and dirty with the crafty, my little crafty monsters. Let's go and paint these little bad boys and get started, and I will see you in a bit. Hola, hola, my little crafty monsters. So these are the supplies we will be using to make this Easter wreath. And this is a brown branch organic wreath that we purchased at Michael's. This is the one we're going to be painting, the one that I told you about. This is the paint. These are little greenery that I purchased from Z 99-cent store. And then the flowers and the lavenders, I purchased those at Z Michaels, as well as those little carrots. Now the eggs and the bunnies, we purchased those at Z 99-cent store as well. And so let's go ahead and get started with this little bad boy. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off by painting. These are the little squares that I purchased at the 99. These are kind of like little tiles of greenery. I just take off the greenery and I use those in projects, as well as these little purple flowers as well. I mean, they work just as accents. And then these are the sprays that I purchased at Michael's, like I said. These white flowers as well as these lavenders. I think these are lavender. I'm not really too good about flowers, but we're just going to go with that. And these little carrots are also the ones that I purchased from Michael's. Now, I was going to use all of these eggs, but I only used a few of these. These are the ones that I purchased from Z 99-cent store, as well as these little rabbits here. And we're going to use both of those. Now I was going to use this fur to make some rabbit ears on this wreath, but I felt that after I decorated it, it was a lot going on and the rabbit ears would have just been too much. So we didn't end up using that, but maybe next year we'll do one like that. And then this is the paint that we're going to be using, the Rust-Oleum. This is the 2 times Ultra Cover, and this is the one that has the paint as well as the primer. And this is so that I guess you have a better chance of covering more dark items that you're trying to paint. And then also too, it goes on metal, wood, whatever it is you guys want to paint. This basically works really good on that. So this is the bad boy that we will be using. So this is the wreath that we purchased at Z Michaels. And this is basically the natural organic wreath. And so we're gonna go ahead and take this little bad boy outside and we're gonna slap about 2 coats of white paint to this because I wanted to get as white as possible. Let's go. And here we are. So let's go ahead and just spray paint these little bad boys, or this little bad boy. We're only making one, Jesse, don't get excited, look at him. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the first layer, but I wanna make sure that I cover everything. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and slap on the second coat. So I'm not really too worried about this turning completely white, but just go ahead and paint the first coat, like I said, and then you just let that dry, and then you hit it with a second coat. Let that dry. If you are not satisfied with how it looks, then go ahead and slap another coat, but make sure that you allow the paint to dry in between each coat. And so right here, I believe I just ended up painting it twice. So it was just 2 coats. And so, like I said, I'm going to try to get every single little corner and the nooks and crannies in between and everything on this first coat. And then the second coat, this is what it looked like. Voila, boo-boos. So this was obviously a few hours later because we allowed it to dry. And so now we're going to do the fun part. So now you're just going to figure what side you want to be the bottom and what side you want to be the top. This is a very organic wreath and it is completely wonky on all ends. So it's going to be pretty hard, but at the same time, it is doable. So let's start decorating. We're going to go ahead and take off these little flowers. I don't know the names of these flowers, but I'm going to go ahead and cut them off short so that they'll be easier to attach to our wreath. And I'm going to try to make kind of like, I want to say like a little spray, if that's what it's called, where they're just kind of like spreading out from each side from the bottom. I mean, most of all the wreaths that you see out there with the flowers, that's kind of the direction that they're always going anyway. So I guess I should say the traditional spread. I don't know, guys. I'm not like an expert on this. So I think these are the lavenders. I'm not really sure. They might not even be a lavender color, but we're just going to say that because they kind of look like it. And I'm just going to go ahead and put those on the edge just to give them a little color. But I'm not really too worried about color because I will be adding all these different colored little eggs and stuff. Some of them, they have glitter and some of them don't. And I mean, I just think that they're so cute. And then I'm also going to use some speckled eggs. I love the speckled. And so those are the little greeneries. I always take those off, like I said, and I'm going to use those kind of like little fillers here and there. And I love to use those in a lot of little projects, if you guys have noticed. So now that I liked how it looked, we're going to go ahead and start gluing everything. So now we're going to be making it permanent, guys. So I always like to lay everything out just to look at how it's going to look. And then from there, if I like it, then I go ahead and go with it and glue it. If I don't like it, then you could go ahead and change it. And so, I don't know, for some reason, I felt that that's always best to do that. Now, right here, it's kind of hard to glue these little bad boys down to this little wreath because of the simple fact that it's branches and there's a lot of little gaps in between. And so there's possibilities that the glue is going to go in between the branches, but just try to stick each one of these little pieces as best as you possibly can to secure it. I mean, it is, like I said, it is kind of hard with this type of a wreath, but it is doable. And because it's wood, it attaches really, really easy to whatever item you're trying to attach it to. And then after we add these little lavenders, now we're going to add the main flowers. I call these the main flowers because when I was walking down Michael's with my little hand basket, minding my own business, and I was in the floral section, I did come across these little bad boys. Not to mention, they were on 40% off. I have no idea why they were, but they were. And so that even made them a lot more cuter to me. And so I was like, okay, these are already 40% off, so I could still use my coupon on another item. So I got these knowing that these flowers were going to be like the main focus of my wreath. And I really love how it ended up making this little wreath look with these little flowers on here. I don't know what these are called. If anybody knows what they're called, comment on the bottom and let me know, because I would love to know what these flowers are called. But we're just gonna call them purties. These are my purties. And so go ahead and just add your pretty little flowers. And I only put glue like on the very tip of that stem. And when I put it down, whatever it touches, whatever branch it touches, that's basically what it's holding on to. So I feel that that's actually enough because like I said, because the actual wreath is wood, it actually does glue. The glue does hold on to that pretty good. And so right here now, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in here and there with these little greeneries that we took off from one of the flowers because I do want to use everything. It also gives it a different shade of greens, different greeneries. I mean, it just looks very springish to me, is what I think. And then right here, I'm adding those little 99 cents greeneries that I told you I love to add here and there. It just also gives it a different little element to your wreath. And then once you have that little bad boy, I'm gonna fill in the little gaps with some speckled eggs. But first we'll go ahead and add our little carrots because I love these little carrots. When I first saw them at Z Michael's, I completely fell in love with them and I was like, okay, I definitely need to use these carrots on my wreath. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and add one on each side of the little spray of flowers. And then I'm gonna add one in the very center. The one on the very center kind of blended in and she started kind of going back and forth and it just didn't really look right, but I just kept it in there because I ended up just keeping it in there. I wish I would have got a few more and then I could have probably, did like 3 and 3 on each side. But anyways, work with what you got, boo-boos, work with what you got. So all these little eggs, now the glitter eggs we purchased at Z 99 cent store, the bag to the left. Now the one underneath it, those speckled eggs, those ones I purchased at, oh, those are from the Hobby Lobbies. We do have a Hobby Lobbies item here. See, I totally forgot about those. So anyway, those little speckled eggs, no, they're called speckled. You have to have a list of speckled eggs. Those I purchased at the Hobby Lobbies. And so there you go. Ahí está, mijo. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fill these little gaps in here with these little speckled eggs. And I love these little speckled eggs because, I don't know, they just have the little specks on them and they remind me of like the little quail eggs and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they're cute. And so I just add a little bit of glue and then I just attach it to
the little egg and onto the wreath. And this little egg right there, he kind of fell down. I could see him right there underneath the little carrot. So we're gonna have to reglue this little bad boy back. But anyway, so I'm just putting eggs here and there. I kind of want a little cluster kind of like under the, in between the flowers, I mean. And then I wanted to kind of start spreading out with the colorful and the glittered ones on the very top of the wreath. And so that's really the vision I had, honestly. A wreath full of huevos. Speckled eggs. And so I really liked how this ended up looking. It looked really kind of organic and kind of farmhouse, sort of, with a little Easter twist to it because of all the colorful eggs and stuff. I don't know, I just thought it was really, really cute. Now, if you guys are going to do a wreath, you could add any kind of elements that you guys want. I mean, really, there's so many things out there, guys, that you guys could use. So right here, now that we finished our little spray down here on the bottom, right here, I'm just going to start adding the color on the very top, which is all these little colorful eggs, because you definitely cannot have a Easter wreath without putting the little colorful eggs, because that just takes you back to your childhood, you know, when you used to hide the eggs and go and look for them. That excitement every Easter Sunday was, I mean, that was the, you know, that was the thing to do, boo-boos. So anyway, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and spread them out. There really is no right or wrong way. I'm mixing up the little eggs. I'm putting some speckled ones, and I'm putting some glittered ones, and then I'm also putting some like those little tie-dye kind of looking ones with the glitter. I'm just putting a different variety of little eggs here and there. I just want different kinds of eggs everywhere. I was originally going to do a wreath with nothing but eggs covering the whole entire thing, but then I said no, I want to add some flowers and some other little elements. So we definitely went that way. And so I'm sorry that I'm out of frame right here where I'm gluing the ones on the very top. But this wreath was really big, and you know, when we work with the big projects, it's kind of hard to basically keep that into frame when you're working. And so it's just really simple, guys. It's nothing to it. All I'm doing is I'm just adding a little bit of glue onto the branch. And the reason I'm adding it to the branch is because it gives it that extra few seconds to cool. Because if you were to add the hot glue onto these little styrofoam huevitos, that glue is going to basically make a hole into these. So I basically was putting the hot glue onto the actual branch just to give it a few seconds to cool down a little bit before I add the little huevito on here. And so that's really how easy it is, guys. I mean, just adding the little eggs here and there, just filling in little gaps so that it, you know, looks a little even. And you have a gorgeous Easter spring wreath. And there it is. How cute is this little bad boy? I really love how it came out. So now I'm just going to add the little bunnies. I was originally not going to, but I said, you know what? We have to throw in some kind of a bunny element in there. Jesse, do not make a wreath without a bunny. So, you know, how more fabulous can we get than glittered bunnies? So I just added these little glitter bunnies that I purchased at Z99 Sunstore. And then we're going to go ahead and hide them kind of behind the leaves where they could be shown a little bit. You know, just a little extra. And I really think I love how this wreath came out. Now, we are going to need to add a little ribbon to the very top so that we can go ahead and hang this little bad boy. But I'm just going to go ahead and clean my little table first. And then we're going to bring that wreath back over here. Then we're going to just add a little ribbon from where it's going to hang from. Nothing really too fancy. I mean, you know, it's just a little Easter ribbon that has little Easter eggs on it. And I did purchase this at Z Dollar Tree. So if you guys want this cute little ribbon with the little eggies, then definitely go to the Dollar Tree and purchase that. And that's it. That's how easy this little wreath was.
No, okay. So anyway, my little crafty monsters, welcome back. That's how easy it was to make this little bad boy out of the materials used from the Dollar Tree, the 99-cent store, and at Michael's. And we created this little bad boy right here. It is not the best in the world, but it is one that I created with my little chubby hands, and I think it's freaking fabulous. And I know that you guys could make something just as fabulous, so I hope that inspires you guys to make a wreath for your door, because everybody needs an Easter wreath on their door. Rather it just be some spring flowers, or I mean, you don't have to put huevitos. I mean, if you want to put the huevitos, but you don't have to put the huevitos, mijo or mija. You could just put flowers and make it really, really cute. Now, these wreaths, they do have them at Michael's. I believe the white ones are about $19. I felt that I didn't want to spend $19 for a wreath because I wanted to buy all these other extra stuff to put onto the wreath. So I found it in a brown and I purchased it for, I believe, $6, but you use your coupon, so it's a lot cheaper than that. And because it was brown, and I said, why not paint it? I mean, we're in the painting mood right now, boo-boos. Everything gets painted white. So we just said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy the brown one. We're going to paint it. I really feel that this wreath really looks better in a white than in a darker brown. But that's because it just helps everything pop. Now, do I like the darker brown? Yeah, I do like the dark brown. But like I said, I feel that for this particular wreath, my vision, it was white. So we had to go with the white. And I really, really, really love how this one turned out. I will go ahead and show you guys a video at the end of this tutorial on how this looks on my door, because I know you guys want to see it on my door, boo-boos. And like I said, I hope that inspired you guys to make one of these little bad boys. And that's it for now, my little crafty monsters. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you are, thank you, my little returning subscribers. And go ahead and share and tell a friend, because your friends also need to know how fabulous these tutorials are. And that's it for now, my little crafty monsters. Goodbye.